Hello, everyone. Matt Clark, research analyst for Money Markets here with your weekly marijuana market update. I really hope you guys all had a great holiday and are ready to get in for a successful 2021. I know I am, so let's get right to it. Before I get to this week's update, though, Chief Investment Strategist Adam Odell is holding kind of a rare event. It's one of those things that are kind of unheard of. He's going to actually share a strategy that he guarantees, now guarantee, remember that you will make 100% profits every single month. I've never heard of that before, ever. I've never heard of anyone saying that they guarantee you'll make 100% profits every month. Just go to www.theinvestingsecret.com and find out more about this once-in-a-lifetime event. Again, I'll put the address right down there, but www.theinvestingsecret.com, and you'll find out more about this 100% profit guarantee every single month. Now, let's get into this week's update. Today, I want to respond to one of our YouTube viewers who's been really persistent of late in asking for some analysis on a particular cannabis company. Paul recently wrote in, he said, I hope you have some info on SCNA. Now, of course, that's not the first time Paul has asked about the company. He's actually dropped some subtle hints about it throughout our YouTube channel over the course of the last couple of weeks. So before the new year, I actually started to do a little bit of checking on this, and then Paul actually happened to ask one more time. More than happy to do it. I couldn't get to, I've got a long list of companies that everyone wants me to look into, and I'm more than happy to do it. This just happens to be next on the list. So the company that he's referring to is Smart Cannabis Corporation. It trades over the counter, and the ticker is SCNA. It's a California-based cannabis company that provides automated and commercial greenhouse systems for both cannabis and organic food industries. Now, basically, really simple. These are basically greenhouses they build. They can be automated greenhouses that can automatically let in water or things like that. And they're used for both grow systems in cannabis and growing for organic food. They're aimed at lowering water consumption, obviously, and increasing product output. So basically, they tout their greenhouses will actually help you grow more food or grow more cannabis. Is that necessarily true? Not really sure. So basically, it helps conserve water and increase how much food or how much cannabis flower you can actually grow. Now, the company recently expanded into the retail sales sector for cannabis when it acquired Budding Botanicals, which is a California company that specializes in CBD tinctures, capsules, hard candies, and even pet treats. They did this back in January of 2020. Outside of that, however, there's very little information I can find about Smart Cannabis Corporation. Now, don't confuse Smart Cannabis Corp with another cannabis company of the same name, Smart Cannabis. The latter is a cannabis company that's actually based in Portland, Oregon, and is not publicly traded. But now, as I said, there's very little information that can be found, or at least very little current information that can be found on Smart Cannabis Corporation. I can tell you is that its most recent market capitalization is around $31 million, making it a relatively small company. It has more than 4.9 billion shares outstanding on the pink sheets. It trades over the counter and on the pink sheets, as I said, so its account reporting is a bit different than a traditional company that trades on an exchange. Now, for what it's worth, the company was incorporated in Georgia in 2005 under a different name. It changed its incorporation to Oklahoma in 2013. Now, however, its headquarters is actually, I believe, in Laguna Hills, California. In 2017, the company changed its name from Zurez Holdings Corp. That's Z-E-R-E-Z, Zurez Holdings Corp. To Smart Cannabis Corporation. I was able to find a quarterly financial report from September of 2019, but that was as current as I could locate. And in that report, the company reported revenues of about $443,000 for the 9 months ending September 30th of 2019. That was more than $200,000 less than its revenue reported for the same period the year prior. Smart Cannabis reported a net loss, of $3.2 million for those 9 months in 2019, compared to a gain of $134,000 the year before. Now, a bulk of that loss in 2019 was due to a massive increase in general and administrative costs. It went from $140,000 to $1.4 million from 2018 to 2019. That's a huge increase. After trading relatively flat across the pink sheets for most of 2019, the company did see a spike in its share price. It jumped from around 5 cents a share to around 17 cents a share in February of 2020. Now, the company also saw the same dip that most other companies saw in March of 2020 with the corona crash, and that dip actually continued into November, which is something that really didn't happen with a lot of other companies. In fact, it was about an 82% drop in share price from its February high to its November low. Now, the stock did have a big rally, and by big, I mean that subjectively, in December. It jumped 166% in just a few days. But bear in mind, we're talking about pennies, not dollars. So small penny increments in share price increases is a much bigger percentage than dollar increases. So bear that in mind. It's all about the math. The jump was on the back of really the overall uptick in cannabis stocks following the 2020 election in November. Now, later in the month, the stock did hit a golden cross. This is where its 50-day moving average crossed above its 200-day moving average. And it would indicate that there's a potential upswing on the horizon. However, the stock has actually found resistance at around 7 cents a share and has fallen closer to that 6 cent per share mark more recently. Now, there's a lot that concerns me about Smart Cannabis Corporation, even beyond the lack of financial information that seems even stranger, even for an over-the-counter stock. The company sunk a lot of money into its general administrative costs in 2019 and paid for it by issuing just more stock. Now, that's all fine and good, but it's very hard to see if that increase in cost has actually produced any results. It's also resting a lot of its hopes on the CBD market with its acquisition of budding Botanicals. Now, the CBD market is strong. It's around $9.3 billion, and Grandview Research actually projects that could jump to $23.6 billion by 2025. So it's not a bad market to be in. I just don't really know where budding Botanicals fits into the overall greenhouse strategy that Smart Cannabis has. I know CBD is one of the active ingredients in cannabis, and you have to grow it. But to go essentially from a supplier of greenhouses to cultivators straight to the retail market is a pretty big leap. Now, there may be a lot of potential here that I'm not seeing, and it could be, because there's just not a lot of information to see, period. But there's nothing here outside of a short price spike that tells me that this is a stock to buy right now. It's a cheap stock. It's, again, pennies. And if that's what you're interested in, then so be it. However, researching the company left me really with more questions than answers, and it kind of pushed me away from it. So I would say, to me, Smart Cannabis Corporation is probably a hold-off for right now, not one I would really get into. There are probably other more profitable cannabis companies that you can look into. Smart Cannabis is really not one of them, in my opinion. Now, a couple weeks ago, I told you about Planet 13 Holdings. It trades over the counter under PLNHF. And I want to share some of the comments that we received on that video. James Mannion said 6,200 shares and still adding. Very excited about the coming months and years. D. Ray Woods commented, I live in Vegas. Planet 13 is all it's hyped up to be. Plenty of dispensaries here in Vegas, but nothing comes close to the Planet. I bought my first 50 shares last week and plan to keep buying until I get to 1,500 shares if the price stays under $6. And then Brian Russo said, great video. I lost some money investing in cannabis the first time, but that hasn't stopped me. I'm ready to invest again. Well, thank you, James, D. Ray, Brian, and all of you who've commented on our videos. I'm keeping a very close eye on Planet 13. It could be a potential addition to our cannabis watch list on moneyandmarkets.com soon. Speaking of which, let's update that cannabis watch list. The watch list has entered the new year on a pretty hot streak. We had about a week off there where we didn't do any videos, but I still kept a close eye on our watch list. And every single one of our watch list positions are showing double-digit gains, even the most recent addition that we made in November. All told, the total average gain for our 5 positions is 33%. That's the average of each one of our positions. 33% gain as of today. The iShares Core S&P 500 ETF, it's only up 5% since I put the first 3 cannabis stocks on our watch list back in September. So 33%, 5%. Pretty nice win rate. And if you did take any of those recommendations that I had, congratulations. You guys, you've made a very wise and profitable decision. Now, it's basically blasting, our watch list is blasting the overall market to bits, and that's great news. Here's a deeper look at the watch list. We had Schweitzer Mountain International, trades on the New York Stock Exchange under SWM. It's a traditional tobacco company, and it started, it's been consistently in the black since I put it on the watch list in September. It started to make products that are used by the cannabis industry, which is why it's on the watch list. It's currently showing a 34.4% gain since I put it on in September. Perkin-Elmer Incorporated trades on the New York Stock Exchange under PKI. It's a company that tests cannabis strains as well as various other things that it tests. It's also been a consistent winner since I added it in September. JP Morgan & Chase increased its stake in PKI back in December. The stock is up more than 23% since I added it in September. Turning Point Brands trades on the New York Stock Exchange under TPB. It's a traditional tobacco company that's making a run into the cannabis market. It's been one of our best performers so far on the watch list. It's up 44% since I put it on in October. Grow Generation trades on the NASDAQ under GRWG. Cannabis company has recently sold more stock in hopes of getting an additional $125 million in public money since I added it to the watch list in November. This has only been a month. In November, up 45%. It still has room to grow. It is our best performer so far. Scott's Miracle Grow trades on the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange under SMG. It was our weakest performer because we had some early weather issues that people just weren't buying as much fertilizer and other products because weather patterns were making it just not necessary to do so. However, it was down nearly as much as 10% in October. The stock has rebounded and is now up nearly 20% since I added it in September. So again, 33% total average gains for our portfolio. And we've got a couple in there that are up over 40%. So if you invested in those recommendations, congratulations on your gains. Remember, if you want to email me any comments, questions, stocks you want us to look at or anything like that, the email address is feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. I'll put the email address right down there. If you're interested in listening to the Marijuana Market Update, which obviously you are because you wouldn't be listening right now, if you're interested in doing it before anyone else, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and that you are getting alerted each and every time a new update is released. Just make sure you hit subscribe, and then when the bell pops up, you hit that bell and you get notified each and every time we put up a new video. It works for our Bull and the Bear podcast and our week ahead videos, and plus other things that my team and I are working on to even make even more videos come out on a regular basis. So, and also I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you to check out moneyandmarkets.com. Every day we put out new content, provide safe and profitable investment information for you. You get content from me, from Charles Sizemore, from Adam Odell, Michael Carr, and you can also get our email address, our daily e-letter that comes out free. Just enter your email address at moneyandmarkets.com and you'll get that e-letter for free. No cost to you, no obligation, no nothing. You'll get all that content and you'll get it for nothing. So make sure you do that. Head over to moneymarkets.com and check out all the stuff that we have on the website. So that's really all I have this week. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, your host of the Bull and the Bear podcast, the week ahead, and this Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.